Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War. This is going to be the first stream we've done in a little while, actually, and I wanted to get back in the into the heat of things here. We haven't played Ultimate General Civil War in a little while. The last game we've really been playing a fair amount of has been Order of Battle Blitzkrieg. Really, Ultimate General's been a staple of my channel for the last 6 months or more. Actually, really the last year. So I wanted to return to it. We're in the middle of a Confederate Let's Play. I believe this is actually part 32 of a Let's Play series, which is seeing us fight through the war on the Confederate side for the first time since the full game has released. So, frankly, that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and play this game, and we may jump into a little bit of Way of the Defector or Way of Defector a little bit later as well. This is probably the only stream I'll do before Christmas. I wanted to I've been taking a little bit of a break. I've been using some material that I've had kind of canned for a while, just a little bit of a breather from YouTube. But, I had the desire to go ahead and play some tonight because this will probably be the only opportunity I get to play any video games before the holidays. So we'll go ahead and sit back, and I'm sipping a little bit of Glenmorangie, 10 years old single malt scotch, and play a little bit of Civil War. I did record the 20th episode of the Single Malt Strategy podcast last night with Jean Marciniak. We discussed our 2017 year-end roundup, our top 5 games. That will post tomorrow sometime. You can find it on the Android App Store or on iTunes. It will also be available on the channel as well. I think we had a pretty interesting discussion. I've been a little bit, some of the recent episodes haven't gone as well as I would like, but this one had a lot of fun banter back and forth, as well as some interesting discussion. And I was enjoying a fine 25-year-old scotch as well to celebrate my my completion of my master's in business administration. So I now have a postgraduate degree. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump in here. We are in the Stones River campaign. We have already re-equipped our corps. We've got 3 fully built-out corps, each with around 20,000 men. Our army's around 70,000 total when you include all the cooks in the kitchens and the infantrymen and the artillerymen. You can see here our troops are equipped with phenomenal weapons, Enfield weapons, some Richmond rifles. Basically, all of our troops have rifled weapons, and they're not just any old rifles. They're Springfields, they're Harper's Ferries, they're Enfields, there's some CS Richmonds. There's a couple of Lorenzes in there, and there's nothing worse than that. We've even been able to replace our 1841 Mississippi rifles as well, since our last couple of battles. In addition to that, we have also started equipping our artillery with slightly better weapons. So all of our artilleries were 3-inch rifles or better. I've actually replaced the 3-inchers with 10-pound ordnance. They seem to have better ratings in the game, even if they weren't better guns in real life. And I've even built one battery, Wright's battery, of 24-pound howitzers. These are my first 24-pounders, and they are in the 3rd Division of the 1st Corps. I'm building up a stockpile of these heavy guns here in our artillery reserve, and as I get enough weapons, I will end up putting them into commission. You can see here we've got a battery of 16, well, not a battery, but we've got 16 10-pound Tredegar rifles, and I'm working on building up some more 24-pound howitzers to slowly phase out the Napoleons with these 24-pounders. The biggest issue is their reloading speed's really slow, but their damage is so goddamn good. It'll be interesting to see how these things fight. But with that being said, I think we're all ready to fight the Battle of Stones River, so let's go ahead and jump in. Yeah, I know it's a little bit late, guys. It is 10:50 my time, so I'll be up into the wee hours of the morning, probably playing this and then the Way of Defector. Anything you miss, keep in mind, always does post on the channel as a video on demand, so please make sure you follow and subscribe and all that stereotypical plugging of my channel to all of you. But seriously, if you miss a stream, I've been largely just keeping the audio intact and publishing that on the channel. Within a few days of the stream, every part of it will be up, so always feel free to check those out. Okay. Well, hello, random Asian watcher. I'm glad that you're here. All right, so I think, let's see here. I'm not sure if we start off attacking from, I think the right flank is day 2. I think the left flank is the principal force attacking day 1. So we're actually going to do the first corps there. I think that's the most important part. That is our elite troops. The reserves will be made up of our 3rd Corps, which is our least experienced, and the right flank will be made up of our 2nd Corps, which has some good experience. You can see here we've got 45 brigades on the field out of a possible 60 that we can bring to the field. We've got 73,000 troops, 51 brigades, 9 divisions, 3 corps, 253 pieces of artillery. Abraham Lincoln has ordered an all-out offensive across the country to take advantage of Union material superiority over Southern states. The strategic attack at the center of Tennessee would be executed by a newly appointed commander of the Army of the Cumberland, Major General William S. Rosecrans. It doesn't say it here, but he took over from Don Carlos Buell. At least 2 of your best corps are needed to stop him. On December 26, 1862, Rosecrans marched from Nashville to meet our army. We decided to hold our ground on the banks of Stones River at Murfreesboro, a town of strong symbolic value for Southerners. I don't really know why. On December 30th, Rosecrans started to deploy on the battlefield and probably plans to attack the next morning along one of our flanks. At dawn on December 31st, the Union soldiers are still having their breakfast, unaware that we are preparing to attack first on their right flank. Speaking of Murfreesboro or Stones River, my wife and I are planning a trip to Nashville sometime this year, no clue when, and I'm hoping to get a chance to spend a little bit of time at the Murfreesboro battlefield or whatever is there. I'm going back to either Gettysburg or Antietam as well on my own, spending several days there. Those are much, I think, better preserved battlefields, but I'm curious what Murfreesboro looks like, so I'll try and spend some time there sometime this year. I have no clue, or next year. I have no clue when that will be yet. Okay. You think you live less than 200 miles from THG? Well, 200 miles is a wide radius in distance, but maybe you do. I don't know. General Rosecrans marching from Nashville on a mission to seek and destroy our army. If the Union secures the small town of Murfreesboro, it will have a negative impact on our cause, as it is home to the American Revolutionary War hero Artie Murphy. Never heard of him. Furthermore, Yanks can advance deeper south into the Tennessee Territory. I didn't grow up in Racine. I lived in Kenosha for a time, Mekisloth. Actually, just about 2 years ago, I lived in Racine, or Kenosha. And I grew up in sort of the western Milwaukee suburbs. All right, here. We are not willing to allow them marching any further into southern soil, although the ground is not especially favorable. We will defend the banks of Stone River. We don't expect them to attack our center, as it will be suicidal. We should not attempt an attack here either. Okay. We'll see if that Foxconn factory materializes in Kenosha or not. They seem to mobilize for an attack on our right. If they take the heights west of town, they could flank and push us further south, so our cavalry's delaying their actions on this side. All right. Okay. Not sure if that's a shot or not, Mr. Beep. I don't stream a lot, so I don't get most of my 15,000 people watching streams. All right, let's see here. Before they decide to attack us, we'll concentrate our forces to strike the right flank tomorrow morning. They won't get the $3 billion unless they build the factory the way it's all structured. But yeah, no, I agree. They're certainly a big lucrative offer to them. General Rosecrans has established his headquarters at Nashville Pike. If we advance and take it, we can surround his army, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So we need to attack him. There's 2 objectives here on their flank. Let's skip this. All right. So we've got 2 objectives we need to take. There's a southern position here, and there's a more northern position here. You can see we've got 15 brigades to deploy. We can deploy up to 12 in the south. We can deploy up to 8 in the north. I kind of want to split my forces. I don't want too much artillery. I think it makes more sense to have the artillery further north, to be honest. Let's go ahead and put this artillery here, this wood line. What kind of guns are these? These are Napoleons, so they're not going to have great range. These are also the 24-pounders, so we're going to put these over here, kind of in a clearing. Hopefully they can fire into the enemy rather effectively. And then we're going to go ahead and strip 2 or 3 brigades and put them in the northern box so that we can try and take this objective and split the Federal Army in 2. So we're going to go ahead and move these guys into the woods. The Stonewall Brigade is one of our better brigades. We're going to stack up here on the right. So we're going to have 4 brigades, I think it is, in the north with 2 artillery batteries. We'll put the artillery largely in the open. Hopefully the enemy doesn't try and attack it head on. And hopefully it's got some clear lanes of fire. Actually, why don't we put it over here in the woods, and we'll just advance it up with the infantry behind them and position it here to provide some support. And actually, let's take another couple brigades. The reason I'm doing this is if I can take the northern objective, my logic is that I'll split the enemy army in 2, and their southern forces will be cut off and destroyed. So taking the northern objective is actually kind of more important than taking the southern objective, I think. The problem is these Yankees are going to be in really good ground. You can see there's a nice little natural wood line here that's going to give them a good deal of protection here from our attack. All right, so we're just going to kind of spread out here. We'll have some Napoleons up front. We'll have Parrott rifles up front as well. And I think that's what we'll do. We'll pull our commander and move him further north. And we'll move him with the northern. So we'll go ahead and start the battle. We'll go ahead and pause. And we'll advance just kind of frontally on this position here. Don't underestimate the enemy like the last time I played this battle. I'll try not to. My goal is to cut off these troops here in the south and destroy them. Let's see. They're no longer a Mississippi Brigade. I need to change some of these names. All right. So go ahead and do this. I'll try and stack up against the objective here. The artillery north into the edge of this wood line. Whoops. And then we'll move the Enfield Brigade here, hopefully through a gap, and we're going to try and form a blocking position here as we destroy these guys. Ask them politely to fall back north. That's one tactic. I don't think they'll listen, but okay. Okay. I probably should send skirmishers out. That's fair. Hey, look. Just issuing those orders to the skirmishers gave us some pretty good intel already. Go ahead and issue some skirmishers here. Enemy artillery is actually on the flank. I'm going to go ahead and attack that head on. Hopefully we can shred that up a bit. All right, so southern flank. These enemy brigades at the very least are understrengthed, which is going to be nice. We've been really hurting the Federals in the last couple of battles, so that they're not going to have the full manpower pool that they could potentially have to call on. I don't know why they're wheeling like that. One of the interesting things is this game apparently has like a mode where you can let the AI kind of do a lot of the fighting for you, and you just kind of give them general orders. And I'm really curious to try something like that out, as like a series sort of, I don't know, a series effort, if you will. I think it would be intriguing. Wow, those skirmishers got lit up by that artillery. Alright, Stonewall Brigade, Orphan Brigade, Exeter. Enemy artillery in the rear there. But again, glad to take some volleys. I'm not saying the AI command would be good. I'd just be curious to see how they do. So you can see here the southern troops are getting... Oh, wow. Federals have a lot of guys down here. Let's try and... I didn't expect them to quite have this many troops down here. I don't think there's any way I'm taking that wood line with the force that I have at my disposal down there. Okay. Go ahead and bring these back to the main unit. Alright. So, at least these Union units are out in the open. Let's go ahead and move these guys back into their unit. Hopefully without them all getting killed. Alright, they already pushed back one brigade. So the southern attack is not going to dislodge them, but again, my main focus is going to be on the north anyway. So really just kind of occupying them till we can take that northern objective and then sweep south, I think is what the strategy that I'm going to try and pursue. Let's get these skirmishers back with their unit. And start trying to turn their flank here. Why don't you guys double quick into position. Take that northern objective, which looks all about taken. And then sweep down their lines. Although it kind of goes against the... oh shit, there's still more troops in here. Kind of goes against the grain of my intended tactics because I'm going to have to drive north at some point. Alright, sweep that way. There you go. Advance. Retreating. Alright, so we secured the center, sort of ish. We've got a bunch of troops here, but they've also still got a bunch of troops. Bring the artillery up. And I'm hoping securing the center will trigger a retreat north by these southern troops, which it has not yet done. Artillery's not very effective at the moment. And our infantry's getting chewed up down here. But at least the one brigade that decides to march out on its own is probably going to get a bloody nose as it kind of moves into the... Move the artillery up. What do I actually have to accomplish here? Hold the National Pike west, east. Well, we're not there yet. So, anyway. We've got an hour and 20 some odd minutes. We've secured one of our objectives. That's fine. Bring the guns up. Place them here. Move this infantry up. The Stonewall Brigade got a little over anxious or over eager, chasing that enemy artillery. Okay. I don't know how I'm supposed to dislodge these guys with the forces at my disposal. I put way too many troops up north. These the 24-pounders? Enemy falls back. Okay, so I guess that's probably scripted, presumably. We attack so ferociously the right flank has collapsed. Push them further north and secure the Wilkinson Pike. Don't give them a chance to breathe. I don't think that's true, but okay. Alright, we'll move the artillery up. Johnson's Corps, which is sort of in our center, is starting to move. It's going to be a steep hill to go up. Try and flank it a bit. Are they withdrawing from the south? Well, there's not even an objective down here, so there's no point in assaulting them. Okay. We've got a sort of temporary lodgment here, but we certainly haven't beaten them yet. Alright, chewing that brigade up. Good. Attack in the north is progressing. Or getting underway, I guess, is the better way to put it. The brigade's firing in here. I mean, if they're gonna stay there... Bring this artillery further south. I'm trying to use the artillery in more of a close support role. Move the Texas Brigade down here. The artillery down here. Whoa! There's a lot more troops on this hill. I didn't mean for all these guys to end up in melee. 2 brigades coming up here should help. We've also got one of the brigades. We moved Stonewall's brigade in. He's kind of flanking Spears over here. We've got the Orphan Brigade moving up as well into their rear. And Hexamer's dealing with some Federal cavalry to his front. He probably doesn't need to pursue quite so far that direction. I think we'll leave him there. Bring the Texas Brigade up. This artillery up here to support. The troops in the south haven't really pulled out yet. It looks like actually maybe some of them are starting to withdraw north. Let's give it another probe down here. Let's see what we can do. Richard Garnett is killed. That's unfortunate. Turn your flank. Alright, so they are pulling out from the south here. They're moving some troops north. I don't really have a strong enough position here to block their actual advance. Let's get the Orphan Brigade into their rear. Our frontal assault kind of broke down going up this hill. To be expected, that's a rather difficult slope to advance up. You can see here another one of these brigades is getting pushed back. But we do have the Orphan Brigade nearly in the rear of these guys. Stonewall Brigade's also firing into their flank. Spears is hanging in there just because he's in such a great position. And go this way. Bring Hexamer south. Kind of taking a risk here, leaving our flank exposed, bringing our infantry south, but we need a better blocking position here because these guys are getting eaten up a little bit. Artillery's not doing the work I would hope. And they're bringing a lot of troops, so rather than us making, you know, setting up our own anvil, our troops are getting kind of caught in an anvil here. I think it's worth pointing out I have not yet lost a battle in this game as the Confederacy in this campaign, but it certainly is possible in this fight that that may happen. Alright, we'll advance again on the center. I think this flanking maneuver is finally making some progress here. I have Mygoot advance on Stanley to hit him from front and flank. Try and fire another volley into that artillery. Good lesson here. Mygoot, you're gonna go here. Flanking doesn't do you any good if they could just turn. Alright. I should probably pause and reassess. So, troops here. Hexamer's coming south. He's going to get chewed up by overwhelming numbers in open terrain. The Enfield Brigade, the artillery down here is just getting eaten up. These 12-pounders aren't doing much. The 24-pounders are doing a little bit better, but not as well as I would hope. And these other troops are kind of engaging the enemy in largely covered terrain. The enemy's covered too, though, so they're pulling out of the south. Well, not even really. Jeez, our troops in the south are retreating too. I guess I could do that. I could try and pull all these troops out, swing them north. But that's just going to free all these southern troops for the Federals up as well. And you've also got to deal with the fact that the enemy still has troops kind of in this wood line. Bagging out of here. But I think that makes some sense. So I'll go ahead and pull the artillery and the infantry out. Should have gone all in on the southern attack. I should not have split my forces in that way. Field Brigade's retreating. Texas Brigade held off that cavalry for now. Meanwhile, Hexamer at least has an advantage with the troops he's actually engaged with, outnumbering him 2-1. That should go reasonably well. Garnett's brigade retreated because Garnett was killed. Alright, Little try and flank this line. And the Orphan Brigade. Move at the double. I still can't believe that Spear's brigade on the flank here of this hill is holding out as well as they are. Where is he flanked from? Who's shooting at him? General Lee, your attack is breaking down a bit. You're getting hit from both sides and your troops are just like, whatever. Alright, they're retreating now. Or at least they're falling back. Okay, Hexamer's still holding. They can really just go around him, though. There's no reason not to bring this whole force north. Frankly, there's some really good terrain for marching quickly, too. There's some open terrain over here. Problem is what we're exposing ourselves to over here. Actually, we could try and come up behind them as well. See if that makes sense. There's no objective down here, so I'm not really too concerned with holding this position, either. Spears retreated that way. Wall. Burnett, roll that flank up. Right. These guys are all very good terrain. Like, where's the orphan? I guess they're flanked from this artillery over here. Really? I never see regular artillery not in canister rout anyone. It's interesting. Alright, so some blue coats just got destroyed because you can see them retreating there with no flag. Troops in the south here can kind of come up eventually behind these Yankees. Not sure what the enemy all has here, but maybe we can catch him. The flank. Want this artillery up here. Wagons should get up there as well. Alright, so we abandon the flank. Some enemy artillery to their rear, guarding their flank. Alright, meanwhile up north here, we are taking casualties, taking some hits on our chin, but we're finally getting around them on both flanks. You can see Starkweather's brigade's kind of caught with Haney and Little now on each flank, and then the Orphan Brigade, of course, and the Stonewall Brigade are advancing up the hill. Should fall here. There you go, Turnpike Hill. The enemy has some troops to our west, which could flank us also. But I think that's all. We took the objective we need to make the battle progress to the next phase successfully. And Haney's done his duty. Why are you guys? Don't double quick. Garrett, we've just destroyed that artillery. Get the Stonewall up here to support the Orphan Brigade. These two Federal brigades are in the open, so we should be able to chew them up most splendidly. Advance up the face of this hill without getting ourselves destroyed. Right, there's Stanley going off routing. Miller, the whole line is caving in here up in the north. And in the south, we've pushed off their artillery and done some damage there. It's going to be important, too, because the Federals are going to have dug-in positions. What's over here? Our Napoleon Battery. North. Actually, you guys have wagons over here. These guys need ammo. Right. So the Yankees are disorganized. We're driving them to the edge of the map. We'll see How much longer till the map moves north? But hopefully we can drive into this corner here. Maybe do some damage before the next phase of the battle starts. Trying to wipe out as many of these artillery batteries as possible. Now, next phase. We can now surround and destroy the Yankees, rush and capture Nashville Pike before they rally at the hilltop. Okay. We've got more troops over here now, up in the north. Where's the Nashville? They've got troops here. That's the challenge. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and end this video. This is part 1 of the Battle of Stones River. Part 2 is coming, and as you can see thus far, we have driven the Federals north. Quite a few of them remain south, but that serves my purposes just fine as well. We've taken a couple of positions along the Union post. They've been driven into these defensive fortifications all the way up here in the north on the Nashville Pike, and in our next video, we'll see if we're able to complete the destruction of the army, which would cut off the Federal retreat. With that being said, guys, I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Until next time, it's the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.